Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to walk through ChiBlockBuilder, the City of Chicago's online platform for purchasing city-owned land. Our goal today is to make this process clear and approachable. We'll go over how to explore available properties, check eligibility, submit your application, and understand what happens after you apply. I'm Nadia Thomas, Senior Land Disposition Acquisition Officer for Department of Planning and Development, and I'm excited to guide you through this process as we talk about ChiBlockBuilder and how it's helping its residents, developers, and communities invest directly into their neighborhoods. Here's a quick overview of what we'll cover today. We'll start with a look at ChiBlockBuilder website and explore how to find opportunities and check eligibility. Then we'll go over how to navigate the city-owned land map, walk through the application process, and explain what happens after you apply. Finally, we'll wrap up with next steps, resources, and a question and answer session. By the end, you'll have a clear picture of how to go from interest to ownership. ChiBlockBuilder is the city's online platform for purchasing city-owned land. It was created to make the land sale process more transparent, accessible, and efficient. It's designed to empower eligible residents, developers, community organizations to invest in Chicago's neighborhoods. The platform features an interactive property map that provides details like pricing, lot size, zoning, and environmental information. ChiBlockBuilder operates with 2 open portal rounds each year, one in April and another in October. So if you miss one round, there's always another opportunity coming up. Before applying, it's important to know which program best fits your needs. ChiBlockBuilder offers several application types: affordable housing, market rate development, missing middle, side yard, open space, urban ag. Each has specific requirements and benefits. Okay, we'll start with affordable housing, which is a program where applicants can use the city lots for working families that has different eligibility requirements. Then we'll go to market rate applicants, which are individuals or developers interested in purchasing city-owned land at full market value to create projects such as housing, mixed-use developments, or commercial spaces. These applicants help drive neighborhood growth and investment without requiring affordable restrictions. The Missing Middle Initiative is a neighborhood repopulation strategy that is leveraging city land and financing contemporary home construction on behalf of market rate buyers. Please attend the Missing Middle webinar today at 1 p.m. for further information. The Side Yard program allows eligible homeowners to purchase eligible city-owned lots that sit directly next to their property. It's a great way to expand your yard, garden, or outdoor space while helping to beautify and maintain your block. Buyers can purchase these lots at 10% of the market value, and they must keep the property for at least 5 years and stay current on taxes and city requirements. The Open Space Initiative offers community members the opportunity to purchase city-owned lots to create shared green spaces, gardens, or community gathering areas. Buyers can acquire these lots at 10% of market value with a clear plan showing how the space will be used and maintained. The goal is to transform vacant land into vibrant, well cared for spaces that bring neighbors together and enhance the surrounding community. Urban agriculture program allows individuals or organizations to purchase city-owned lots for just $1 per property with a commitment to use the land for farming or food production for at least 10 years. Participants grow produce that supports local communities, especially in areas with limited access to fresh, healthy food. The program promotes sustainability, community engagement, and food equity while turning vacant lots into productive green spaces. Now let's look at how to navigate the city-owned land map. The interactive map allows you to browse available lots by address, neighborhood, or program type. Each listing includes important information such as size, zoning, price, and environmental notes. This tool is designed to make it simple for you to find opportunities that match your goals, whether that's expanding your property, developing housing, or starting a community project. Now we'll navigate on the website. So if you're searching for a lot that you know is next door to your house or in the area where you would like to purchase, you will either enter your location here or select a community area or select the ward. Once you have selected a lot, once you have selected a lot to apply for, you'll put that address in this box here. You'll click search, and then you'll go down to the interactive map. What you see here is an area, the map where the address is located. You'll click here, and then you'll scroll here and click apply for this lot. Once you get to this area, you want to put in your name, your email address, a phone number where we can reach you, and then you either want to be a local resident, a developer, a nonprofit organization, but that depends on which program that lot is used for. So I'm going to put local resident because that lot will be a side yard. And then I'll click get my application code. And once I get my code, I want to copy it and then start my application. It'll take you to this here, which is the point where you submit your information. Then if you don't have a submittable account, you would need to sign up for one. Once you have entered your password, it'll take you to this application, which is your eligibility requirements. You want to read all of this information before you start applying. I am a city employee, but I'm going to apply today as I am not a City of Chicago employee. Then you want to read the city debt acknowledgement, which lets you know that we will be doing a debt check. And then you want to acknowledge that you will have to fill out an economic disclosure statement. So this particular lot is a side yard. So what you want to do is make sure that you are applying for the lot that fits your criteria. You click yes because you live next door. You want to read all these questions thoroughly and make sure you're answering them correctly. And click next. And then they let you know. So here I will put in the address of the lot that I am applying for. This is not a public notice. Then that code that we had copied, that code goes here. And you just want to add your information. Then you want to put in your address. Yeah, it didn't take me to it. I'm gonna just say that. No address. So you put the zip code in. Says the 10 years. So here is where you will put in your deed, and here is where you will put in your ID. Well, your ID goes here and your deed goes here. Now, once you've added that, for this section, you'll put in the property address again. Yes. And then you need to have the PIN. And the zoning, I think it was RT4. And the purchase price will be 10%, which is like 22,000. You can find that information, should be here. It would be in this area, 10% of that amount. And back here. And then it's just found it on the website. You're certifying that the information you provided is true. Then you do a final review and you click submit. But I need to add. It won't let you go past this without adding your documents. But once you hit submit, they will send you an email with your information, um, with the application form, application number, and it'll come to your email. And if anything is missing, then we'll send you an email via submittables asking for the documents that are missing. So we applied for this lot. And when you find a property that fits your goals, it's time to apply. The application is fully online through ChiBlockBuilder. You'll fill out the form as we just did, upload required documents, and submit everything during the open application round. Documents can include proof of ownership, identification, financial details, or project plans, depending on the program. The most important thing is to make sure your application is complete. This helps the review process move smoothly and avoid delays. Now, after you have applied, there's a process that the city takes in order to verify information that you have provided. So after you submit your application, the review process begins, and here is how it works. The Department of Planning reviews your application to confirm it meets program requirements. If any documents are missing, you'll be contacted through submittables. The verification is when the staff verifies your documents and check for any outstanding debts or unpaid property taxes. Then once they come to a decision and once your information is verified, your application is recommended for city council consideration. City council then reviews the application, which is the committee and the alderpersons before a full council vote. And once that happens, you'll go to closing. Once approved, the legal documents are prepared, payment is collected, and ownership is officially transferred. And then congratulations, the lot is now yours. So on the other side of that, if a property isn't available for sale yet, don't worry, you can still express interest using the I'm interested in this parcel form. The form lets you signal to the city that you want to be considered when that property becomes available. And here's how the timing works. Submissions from January 1st to June 30th are reviewed for the October application round. Submissions for July 1st to December 31st are reviewed for the April application round. Submitting this form ensures you'll be on the city's radar when the lots open for the next cycle. So let's recap your path to purchase. So you want to browse for lots, explore available properties on the ChiBlockBuilder map, check the fit to determine which program you qualify for, show interest if the lot isn't open, fill out the I'm interested form, apply, submit your completed application and documents online, respond, watch for any follow-ups requests from city staff, get approved, move through the review and closing process, and stay updated. So by staying updated, you will visit ChiBlockBuilder.com regularly and sign up for alerts. And of course, if you ever need help, you can reach out to the team directly at landsales@cityofchicago.org.
Thank you, Nadia.
And here is an example of what's possible through the ChiBlockBuilder program. And that brings us to our question and answer session. We've covered the process from start to finish. Now I'd love to hear your questions, whether it's about eligibility, timelines, or how to strengthen your application.
Okay. So we had some in the Q&A area. I know the team has been working to answer a lot of these questions. My name is Whitney Mungin. I'm the Director of Land Acquisition and Disposition on Nadia's team. So I think maybe we can start by answering some of these. And Gabby or David, I'm not sure about the allowing people to speak, if that's an opportunity as well.
I
So
think
I'll
just
just
with the volume of people in this meeting, we're not going to be able to do live questions and answers with people speaking
gotcha.
out loud, but we encourage people to direct any questions they have to the Q&A box at the bottom of Zoom.
Okay, so I'll go through some of the ones in the Q&A and answer those. We will be sure to respond to all of these and post an FAQ that answers all of these questions from this webinar once we post this webinar for you guys to view again. Okay. So there's a question about, okay, so George Barnett, I'm not sure if there's other questions from you here or clarification. So it says, we did this months ago and never received a response or confirmation. Is there guidance to help move the process along? So I'm going to assume that you mean that you submitted interest through the I'm interested button. And so I want to clarify how we use that. The I'm interested button is a database. We access this database to look at what is requested for each upcoming round. Unfortunately, we can't list everything that is submitted through that database for each round. On average, each round is about 500 parcels. That is just about the max capacity that our team can handle and process each round. So we can't list them all every single round. We take a look at them, we share them with the alders, we get feedback, and we make sure that the interest that is provided to us aligns with community need, interest in other projects that are happening. So that's how we make those decisions. There's a question about multiple application submissions for one lot. So that really comes down to the type of application that we get multiple submissions on. So not every application is accepted, right? If it's market rate, then there is a scoring rubric that is on ChiBlockBuilder.com that explains how we look at those applications. Actually, every application has a rubric that goes with it. If it is side yard, because you have to be an adjacent neighbor, so it can't be across the street or down the street. It needs to be like adjacent to the home in which you own and occupy. If it's two neighbors, then it would go to a lottery for a side yard for two qualified applicants. There was a question about where the prices are listed. Nadia, do you mind going to the open and showing where those values are? So every round we get valuations for the land.
Can we get the if you go here, there's the price there.
So for every parcel that is listed, there is a market value attached to it. And so you're going to have to go to the parcel, click on it, and then to the right, you'll be able to see all the pertinent information that goes with that parcel, including what it's being listed for. So I saw that question in here as well, which was, how do you know what it's being sold for? And so in this box to the right, it gives you not only the value, but also the sales program. So this one would be for a side yard. So here's, are we able to know how many applications are submitted for the lot we are interested in? We cannot release that information until after the round is closed. There's also a question about how long the sales process takes.
6 months.
So I'm going to say it varies depending on the complexity of what you're applying for. So if you're applying for a market rate sale to build a multi-unit building, that's going to be more complex than a side yard. So typically, once the application is accepted, we will work to verify your documentation. If it is a more complex sale that requires financing, you're going to make sure that you submit all of the information to us that shows that you can build what you're applying for. Once that is verified, we can take it to council. Council's always about a 3-month process. Once we get through council process, then we need to work to get you to closing. And so closing highly depends on the applicant's ability to submit and confirm additional documentation that is just required for every city land sale. So hopefully we can get you to close from the council process within a couple of months. But again, that is highly driven by the applicant's ability to get us documentation and the correct documentation. Trying to see if there's anything else that's more, I'm saying general. What if the property is not on the list but is for sale? So I need more clarification. I'm going to try to answer that. So if a property, Nadia, do you mind going to the view map? So there's 2 maps on our website. One of the maps is only available when we have an open round. The other map is always available to see what land is currently city-owned. If you are on the View City-Owned Lots map, and there's a parcel that you believe is city-owned but not showing on the map, it is either already a part of a project or a part of an application. So once we close this round, these 520 lots that are showing will not show on the view only map. So I hope I didn't confuse you guys with that. So it's either on our application map or our view map. Once we close a round, we remove it from the view map because we are processing an application for that parcel.
So basically, wouldn't see the lots that are available for purchase this round on this map, which is the View City Owned Lots. You will only see it on the Apply for Lots map.
The Beverly, I think it's Miles asked, do you have to live next to a lot of interest? You do not have to live next to a lot of interest unless you are applying for side yard. Side yard is where you have to be the adjacent neighbor. Nadia, do you mind going to where the eligibility requirements are for each type of sale? And that scoring rubric that is, I don't ever say that word correctly, but
Go back.
so for each type of land sale, there are there's specific instructions as well as scoring criteria. And so do you mind clicking on market rate? I think that one's pretty. And so here you can see what's required as far as your application materials. And this is something that I encourage any person interested to check out because it's always available even between the rounds, just to make sure you're prepared to respond when the application round is open. And then do you mind scrolling down, Nadia? And so here's the application scoring. You guys have a lot of questions, and I hate that I can't get through them all. There is a question about the dollar lots. That is not, there are no more dollar lots. So ChiBlockBuilder is a platform. We use that platform similar to the MLS to sell our city vacant land. The dollar lot program, the adjacent neighbor programs that we did previously are no longer in existence. So the type of sales available are the side yard, market rate, missing middle, open space, and urban ag. And the sales price is based off of the type of land sale type or program that you apply for. I think there was also a question about employees eligibility. And so we always ask that the employees check with the Board of Ethics and get confirmation from them before applying. So, and I believe that is in our eligibility requirements as well.
Whitney, there was a question about how to purchase the Chicago Fire Department buildings, which are part of the RFPs. Do you want to discuss that, or I can put a link in the?
Yes, Cindy, can you answer that?
Yeah, let me find the question. I'm sorry, I've been answering a whole bunch of them. So RFPs. Should I put that in the chat? Does everyone get to see the chat?
Yeah, I can put a link in the chat to
Oh,
the,
great. Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
or actually David can, the co-host.
Perfect.
So there are two firehouses available in this round of the application. One is at 1721 West Greenleaf. The other is in Woodlawn, Washington Park. And they have additional requirements and kind of a more robust application process for those. But you actually do apply through the exact same portal that Nadia showed everyone. So if you go to the RFP website, you can download the program guide, which has way more information about the environmental aspects of those two spaces, and more details about what DPD is looking for those two facilities. But to actually make your application, you go through this same ChiBlockBuilder portal.
Yep. And just to follow up on that, thank you, Gabby. You can see there are registration links for webinars. So you can see the link on the website that you can sign up for. And also the deadline dates for the RFPs are extended. So the deadline is January 5th, 2026 for these RFPs. So there's more time to provide a more thorough response.
Okay. So I think we can continue to respond via the chat to answer questions. There's a question, does the Board of Ethics know from Eric Marquez? Does the Board of Ethics know what we're asking for when asking for city employee approval? Yes, they do. So you would just send an email and you would say that I'm an employee. I would like to apply for a city lot through the ChiBlockBuilder platform, and they know exactly what the request is about. There's a question about the price of the firehouses or what the market, the value is for them.
That's identified in the program guide for each of them. The program guide for the one in Woodlawn, for the firehouse in Woodlawn, that is a program guide that's offering 3 sites, 2 in Woodlawn and 1 in Washington Park area. So you can find information on the zoning districts, the market value, the intended uses, and any applicable incentive programs that are out there for each of the sites.
And then the market value is also on the website where Nadia showed before. If you were to select on that parcel specifically, you would be able to see it there as well. So it's in a couple of different locations for you guys to find. Okay. There's a question, can pre-owned lots be a part of the missing middle program? So the answer is no. The purpose of the platform of all of this is really to sell city-owned land to make it usable again. I need a better word than that, but that's the purpose. So if it's something that's already been sold, then no, it is not eligible. And I think I've answered this. Does adjacent neighbor mean adjacent to? Yes, like exactly next to is what adjacent neighbor would mean. That's not a program anymore. The adjacent neighbor program, side yard is what the application type would be. And so yes, it needs to be exactly adjacent to. Any pending applications, you can ask for updates through one, if it was through Submittable, you can directly go into your Submittable account. If you have an application where you don't or you haven't gotten a response, and send an email through Submittable. Additionally, if you don't have your Submittable login or you can't log in, you can also email our land sales box, which is landSales@cityofchicago.org, which I think we can put in the chat. Okay. Team, is there anything that I'm missing that's more general? Because some of these are more specific, and I think we'll just have to follow up individually. That I might be missing.
There was a question about the estimated time frame between application to closing, and I think this is a little bit tricky because I think it's very dependent on timing is very dependent on the type of program that is being applied for. So side yard, open space, urban ag versus vertical development versus an RFP. Those all have kind of different timelines and submission requirements, right? And it also is very dependent on the documents that are needed to once an application is accepted, we need additional documentation before we can bring a project to City Council for their review and consideration. And so it is very dependent on how long it takes the applicant to provide us information. But we really are trying to move these land sale deals, the ones that are accepted, as quickly as possible. So that's, our goal is to try to, evaluate proposals within about a month or so, and then, or there might be a cure period that is needed before a decision can be made. So that might take a little bit longer. But then, ideally, I'd say within 6 months or so, we're making pretty good progress in getting to City Council.
Oh, here's one about the schools. So I think this is worth addressing. So the schools are not in Department of Planning's inventory. Our inventory is mostly focused on the city-owned land, where you see that we have worked to do the RFPs for fire stations or maybe a few other buildings. We've worked with our sister department, 2FM, to do that. And so, but the schools are not in our inventory. So we do not, currently, we are not working on disposing of any of those. And 2FM is Fleet and Facilities Management Department. Where can I check the zone of the land? So where is the zoning? If you're looking for zoning, we do show the zoning on our map, but you can also go to the City of Chicago zoning map. And then the county also has a map as well. So, thank you, Nadia. So for parcels that are in our inventory, in Department of Planning's inventory, oh, that one's tricky. Thank you, David. So we show the zoning of the parcel, but then also in the chat, David has dropped the City of Chicago zoning map. Dates for this round. So the round opened October 1st of 2025. We have what is a 45-day period and a 90-day period. Cindy mentioned like the fire stations will go until January 5th because they require more as far as what we're asking for. We have the apply by date for every round. So the 45-day listings, which is our standard, those close the 17th of November. And so all of that information for what's the open and close dates are on the site. And when you select a parcel, it will give you the specific information based off of the type of listing. Okay.
Whitney, there's a question about whether you have to be a City of Chicago resident to purchase property. And that is not true, correct? You could live outside the city and still purchase the land.
You can live outside of the city to be able to purchase the land. But that also depends on the type. So you couldn't live outside the city and apply for side yard because you have to be a resident of that adjacent home. We consider 10% market value. There's a question, will you consider 10% parcel fair market value for property owners that are adjacent to a city-owned lot for mixed-use development? So if it is listed at market rate, then the ask is for the value that is listed, right? We encourage you to submit your highest and best offer for the project that you are applying to build on our land. The types where it is 10% is side yard for those neighbors, and then open space is Nadia. But if it's anything other than that, we list the market value, and then we ask that you submit your highest and best offer for your project. Here's one. How will the city decide if sale needs a community meeting? For example, will RFP applicants expect to present at a community meeting? So the RFP specifically states the requirements to go through that process. Depending on what ward market rate applications are in, side yard as well, the alderman may require a meeting, and we try to highlight or let applicants know this in the application, but we always suggest that you check with the alderman. And we do flag where we are aware that the aldermen do require a community meeting, that is required. Okay, this video it is being recorded, and it will be posted along with an FAQ to try to answer all of the questions that you guys have asked. So I'm not sure if there's anything else that I'm missing that's more general. Again, you guys can send questions to the land sales mailbox. If you have a submittable account and you've already applied, the best course of action for an open application is to respond through there. It also tracks your communication, and so you would want to do that just to make sure that what you're asking and the responses you're getting are documented. Not seeing anything else that's more general, so if I'm missing anything, please let me know. Otherwise, I think it's 11:58, we're close to 12, so I think we're close to wrapping. I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you, Nadia, for doing this presentation. The Land Resources team is planning on doing a couple of additional presentations just to try to help answer questions about this process. So this isn't the last time you guys will see us. I know it's been a while since you've seen us, but we are here to help. And then if you have the time, please go to the Missing Middle webinar at 1. Is that what time it is? 1 today? So that you can learn more about Missing Middle and get specific questions answered about that program. So I think that's it. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending. We appreciate your time.